particular word I can use to describe it, because when I actually won that belt, yeah, you know I actually slept with that belt next to me. That's all.
This is BoxTalk. We're at TKO Gym in East Ham.
Yep, today we're here to see Ian the Dapper Napa. Two-time British champion, former European champion. Let's see what he's got to say. Graham Earl. Everyone should watch his fight. Conceders, you haven't seen that fight, watch that fight. Little war of Conceders. Go up. Henry Williams, Skelman, another great fight. Martin Powell versus Ian Napa, we're going to talk about that later. Controversial decision in that one. Here, Khan coming up. Good little posters in history here, a lot of history in some of these fights. That's something we weren't knowing about Audrey Harrison. Now, yeah, not so sure.
I see you loving the gym, Eddie.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm loving this gym. I feel like, when I'm in here, I feel like I'm in a proper boxing gym. No disrespect to any other gyms that we've been to, or any other gyms we've seen, but something about it, you can smell it. You can smell the pads, you can smell everything. This is a proper gym.
It's often said that the smaller weight classes in boxing produce the most exciting fighters. This theory definitely rings true of two-time British bantamweight champion, European bantamweight champion, and world title challenger Ian the Dapper Napa. Hailing from Hackney, East London, via Zimbabwe, Africa, Ian's ring entrances and craft and guile brought excitement to the boxing scene throughout his boxing career. Listen as Ian speaks candidly about his ups and downs, both in and out of the ring, some of his most memorable nights, and what plans he has for the future. This is Ian Napa, my story.
Here we are, BoxTalk, with Ian the Dapper Napa, two-time British champion, also former European champion. Ian, thanks for talking to BoxTalk.
Yeah, no problem.
So Ian, boxing. Guy from Zimbabwe coming to Hackney. How do you fall in love with boxing?
Yeah, well, it's funny enough saying that. It was like the way boxing's always been a part of my life. Because even when I was in primary school, I just shadow box. I mean, being raised by my grandparents, like my grandma was just like a Sugar Ray Leonard fan. Yeah. So like, boxing's always been a part of my life in that sense. That it's always been in the background, like you know my gran and all that. Then as life went on, funny enough, I kind of knew. When I look back into my life now, I think to myself, right, I was always bound to do boxing because I used to like shadow boxing a lot. I used to shadow box a lot. Like then as time went on, I remember this when I was 12 years old, and this guy goes to me, "You should do boxing, you know, because you're always shadow boxing. Why are you always doing that for?" Then like, but I was really stuck more into the football. Yeah. Then as time went on, I remember this guy in my class. He was like, he just said to me like, "Oh, he does boxing." I cried a man out. I'm like, okay. But I thought, me personally, I thought he was a mug. You do boxing? Okay, if you can do boxing, I can do boxing. So I just went down there. I just went down to the gym. Then that's how it started off. When I went there originally, I went there to do boxing, but I got there and I goes, "Oh, do you know, you got a football team." When I got there, I got me shook. I looked and I see a lot of people banging the bags, and I thought, "Oh my God, what have I got myself into?" He goes, "You got a football team?" He goes, yeah, football's on different days, but not today, but today's boxing. He goes, "Would you like to try it?" Because the fact that he put it on me like that, I thought, alright, let me go there. Yeah. But and ever since that's ever been, I knew the basics of boxing because I watched it so much times. So as I went in there, like, I was like, quick hands and everything. From then on, I just adapted this guy, Jason Matthews, and this guy called Cass. Then he goes to me, "Yeah, this is the new Sugar, Sugar. Ever since, that's ever been my nickname. People that know me from the start, from kind of man, I always call me Sugar. Never call me Napa, they call me Sugar, so like, that's how it was. And from then on, we just went on from there.
Where did the Dapper nickname come from? I remember always watching you guys, to watch you come in the ring with your dark glasses, with the good music. Where did the image of the Dapper come from?
Do you know what, to be quite honest, Dapper, like, the actual name Dapper was actually my friend Steven, little Steven, everyone called him. He goes, "Yeah, Dapper Napa, man, that's your name. Then ever since, it's just stuck. It's just stuck on, it kind of rhymed with my surname as well, so it's just like, it worked out it worked out perfect. And that was it, really.
I've always kind of
watching you as well, obviously I was privileged to watch you on TV so many times. I always looked at your style, kind of like that kind of defensive counter-puncher kind of style. Growing up, was there any kind of boxer that you kind of modeled yourself on? Did you think, okay, like Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, you guys got that kind of style like them?
Yeah, but at the start of it, like, everything was Sugar Ray Leonard in my life. Like, I watched Sugar Ray Leonard videos, like, I watched them so much times, like, it's like, I watched them so much times where it just came natural after a while to do what they done. And you know what I mean? But the original fight that, funny enough saying that I watched and made me want to go to the gym was watching, I was watching this war between Bojack and Ike Williams.
Okay, yeah.
And like, I thought, wow, like, I said, yeah. Like, from then on, like, I just wanted to go in the gym and just do the same thing what they were doing. But afterwards, you know, learn boxing stuff, I realised, nah, man, it's best to be a cute fighter than to be a brawler.
Do you remember your first amateur fight?
Yeah, my first amateur fight, I fought this guy called Tony. I can't remember his surname. And I lost my first amateur fight, but I thought I won it. Then we had a rematch and I knocked him out. It's like, wow, like, because me, when I took boxing, I didn't really take it as a serious thing. I took it just as an activity. Like, because I was doing football. I mainly used to play, I played football. I played for 75ers.
Yeah.
And that's a box for crying a man. So I used to do both. I kind of got boxing success quite quick in my amateur days, because I only had 22 amateur fights in my whole amateur career. But in my seventh fight, I won the national schoolboy championships,
which is a big feat.
Yeah.
After 7 fights.
Yeah, that was it was like happened quick.
Yeah.
Then in my 10th fight, I beat the senior ABA champion. Then it wasn't too long after that. I was boxing. I boxed for London, boxed for England, won twice against America's #1, #2. Then won bronze medals in different various multinational tournaments. Went to the World Games, got to the quarterfinals.
In only 22 amateur fights?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And from then on, I just thought, you know what? Then I said, obviously during my amateur career, I was always in and out every gym. I used to go different gyms. I've actually been to most gyms in London. And I used to do it on I spent about 3 seasons. Actually, because that's how long I was an amateur, just for three years.
Which is unbelievable.
Yeah. I actually used to go, I used to train all year round. Never used to, like, during the breaks, I used to go to different gyms all the time. I used to have a mate of mine called Kevin Barrett. He was a professional as well. He boxed briefly as a professional. Me and him used to go Colston, we went to Times, went to Leighton Youth, went to Repton, went to St Monica's.
Proper old school boxing.
Yeah, I went to all these gyms, Lions, Boys Club, I went to all these gyms, but even though I boxed a kind of man, I would go to all the other gyms, the spar. Some of the people, I can't remember who I sparred with them. I sparred loads of people because they even get in contact with me on Facebook, like, I used to spar with you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of thing. But I sparred different styles. So I've seen loads of styles. Like loads of southpaws, loads of unorthodox fighters. I even sparred in at Brendan Ingle's gym.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, when I was at amateur.
Sheffield?
Yeah, I was out in Sheffield for about a couple of weeks. And I used to train with all Eastern Pickering and everything. All these different styles, like Dave Caldwell, you know, he's a promoter.
No, Dave Caldwell had hair.
Yeah, yeah. I sparred with him in those days. You know. So we did get around. I did get around a lot.
Was it an easy decision? I mean, 22 amateur fights, you probably could have stayed on, gone to World Championships, European Championship. Was it an easy decision to go pro?
To be quite honest, it wasn't easy. Do you know the reason why I thought it was an easy decision? I've seen all these guys in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Previously, I thought to myself, these are the best of the amateurs. So why would I remain amateur for?
Okay.
So to me, I said to myself, these guys are the best amateurs, and I can hold my own in this level, at this level. Because literally, I was literally lost one fight from winning a bronze medal in the World Games, and that was due to a countback. So to me, I thought to myself, I'm within the top 3 in the world.
Let's look at your pro career. Okay, so you turned pro. I mean, you've had 8 wins straight away off the bat, and then Jason Booth.
Yeah.
You lost to Jason Booth. Talk to me about that.
Yeah. When I turned, obviously I've had my 8 fights. Like Well, I look at it now. Obviously, at the time, I thought, you know, you don't fear nothing when you're young. You know what I mean? You're a fighter, and that's what you are. But when I look back into it now, I think to myself, hold on, they like that. My opportunities really came early, but I wish they do come at that at those little weights. They do come early because you look at what's his name, Charlie Maggie was British champion in his third fight.
Third fight, yeah.
Yeah. So those are sort of things that will come early. But like I didn't feel I was experienced enough, like as in ring wise and knowledge of boxing in that sense. Professional wise, I still feel like an amateur. So that opportunity came early. I still done it 12 rounds, but I felt like after Jason Booth lost, I fought not too long after. I fought actually fought a guy that won the bronze medal in the I fought this guy that won the silver medal in the 96 Olympics.
Wow. Okay.
And wow, like to me I thought, oh, then that's a bit much to like come back to a fight like that. And the guy was like, he had a good record. And I fought him and I beat him.
When was that gap? I mean, you had like a 3-year gap. The
3-year gap was after that. After when I got stopped by Peter Coleshaw.
Yeah.
That is when well, the gap didn't. The reason why that gap really happened was because when I got stopped, I still just signed a fresh contract with Fat Warren, and Fat Warren, like, obviously, when you lose, you know them guys. When you lose, like, they find out. They find out. Really, they don't want you no more.
Yeah.
So they shelf you off. So I shelved off, and I just thought, you know what, forget boxing. Then after a while, it's just like something just. You know, something that I've always done as a kid, like, it's like, man, I could. Then everyone's always going, nah, you should go back into boxing, don't leave it, it's that. And you know, like, it play up in my mind, you know what I mean? You have my highs and my lows, you know what I mean? Like, up and down, and I thought, you know what? Just got up one morning, I was with one of my friends, I was, you know what? I'm gonna go for a run. I'm gonna just run. Just went jogging. Next day I was, come and go for a run again.
Felt good.
You know what? I thought, you know what? I made a phone call. I phoned Brian Lawrence. But Brian, I want to get back in boxing because I've always trained with Brian since I was a kid.
Yeah.
From when I got Culverston. So I said to Brian, listen, Brian, can what? But Brian was going on holiday at the time. He goes to me, all right, he's going on holiday. Just get on the road work. And when he comes back, he's gonna phone me and everything. I just stayed on the road work and ain't looked back ever since.
Hindsight's one of those things. When everyone can look back in their lives and talk about what they wish they did, sort of when they were younger. Do you regret taking those years out?
I do in a sense. Because when I look back, obviously the number of fights I've only had as a professional, I know I could have had much more fights than that.
Yeah.
Because obviously those 3.5 years, I could have earned much more money for one, and I could have gained a lot of experience. That's probably why the world title opportunities never really came to me.
Yeah.
Because of that 3.5 years.
You came back. You done good. Yeah. You won a couple. You lost. I remember I looked at the record. Then you came back and fought Jason Booth again in 2006. How did it feel knowing you were going to fight him again?
To be quite honest, I thought because he'd been out in boxing as well. Like, it's like our careers like mirror each other in a funny way. Because like he'd been out and like he had his own problems going on. So like Brian, I got 2 weeks notice for that.
Wow.
So I just got up. I mean, the amount of work I put in within that 2 weeks, I thought to myself, if I could put in this so much work, there's no way I could lose this. Yeah. And I thought to myself, I fought this guy before. I was inexperienced then, but now I'm much more experienced. I just recently lost for the WBC #1 for the European title.
Yeah.
Actually, the guy's actually European champion now. Simone Maladri. If I could fight this guy, who are you?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So went in there and dug deep. Even though like 2 weeks notice, I thought I just dug deep and won it, and that just changed my life ever since.
I mean, I know you won the British title outright. You got to keep the Lonsdale belt. Yeah. Everyone talks about this Lonsdale belt. Keeping it outright, when everyone says it probably is the best looking belt you can get. You think of all the belts out there. How did it feel that you've got that belt to keep?
Well, like, you know what, to be honest, there's not a particular word I can use to describe it, because when I actually won that belt, yeah, You know, I actually slept with that belt next to me. That's how funny it is. I won the belt and the belt.
Everyone says they do that.
I slept with the belt next to me. I swear, like, I slept with the belt next to me. I was like, woke up, I was like, whoa, yeah, I slept with the belt. And the worst thing about it, it's like, I don't know, it's like, it was just one of those weird things, because as soon as I woke up in the morning, went downstairs to the hotel, because it was in Wigan. As I went downstairs to like get some breakfast, everyone like, hello champ. It was like, good. Wow, this is real, like, you know, I had to pinch myself, like, wow, this is actually real, like, I'm the champion now. Yeah. And like, obviously was taking the train back to London. You know, like, I fell asleep, everything, woke up, like.
And I still got the belt.
Because the belt's like, because the belt they give it to you in a briefcase that looks like you're carrying money. The same, like the spherical band kind of thing. So it's like when you're walking on the street, you're like, you know what, people thinking I've got money in this. You know what I mean? You never know, but obviously I'm thinking. So it's like as soon as I got to Hackney, man, like, I sleep up in Napa Clapton then. Like, everyone was at. My phone did not stop ringing. I was like, whoa, I'm champion. It was just one of those things I just couldn't, like, took a while, but I just trained hard ever since, man. I trained hard because, you know, like, you don't want to lose that. You just don't want to be a one-hit wonder. That's what it was.
I remember watching your interview when you won the European Championship. What? And I always try and compare the feelings. Obviously, the British title, obviously, because you lost for the British title way many years back. You won a British title. That emotion, but what was bigger, European or British title for you? I mean, in terms of obviously European's a higher belt, but in terms of the emotion.
The European like was. You see, when I won the European title, bro, I did not even sleep that night. I did not sleep. I didn't sleep till about 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. Couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. Did not party. Didn't go out. Nothing. I was like, just like stunned. I was stunned within myself. I had to switch off my phone because my phone would not stop ringing. Would not stop ringing. Like, constantly. It's like, wow, like, non-stop, like. Get me? It's like, that was one feeling that I can't even describe. It's like, and the new, you look British. You know what I mean? Like, both belts, British and European. Yeah. I was like, wow, double champion. Like, you know, and then like, everything. Invitations to this place, that place. I could see how boxers could actually lose the plot. Yeah. From that made me realise you can lose the plot from this type of
like what? Tell us. What kind of
what I mean is just that like even my sisters were getting in clubs for free with my name. That's how bad it was. It's like my sister was like, yeah, like the days like when she's phoning me going, yeah, come to this club, yeah. This guy says he knows you. I told him you're my brother. I'm like, yeah, well, get in the club then, innit? Those 10 guys following me going, we drinking champagne all night. The guys put champagne on all night for free and all that. Like, it's just like, it was crazy. Like, I was getting invited to events non-stop. Like, I spent half the time on the road, like, doing this, doing that. I mean, now it's even more now, because now that I've retired, like, it's just constant. It's a constant thing. You know what I mean? But it's like, it just makes you realise, like, those are the things, it can either tip you the other way around, like, because what I mean by that is just that everything seems to come for free when you're at that level.
We've got a video on our YouTube channel, we call it Refs and Judges, where we talk about some dodgy decisions, controversial decisions. I don't want to bring it up, I know it's in hindsight with you, but I remember watching some of your fights, and I remember even telling loads of people after I watched your fights, how on earth did Ian Napa not win that fight? The one that kind of ekes me all the time is Jamie McDonald. I watch it all the time and time again. Especially when you look at that he went on to IBF champion. Yeah. Obviously he's lost the belt now, but do you look back and think that either your style wasn't appreciated, some of the decisions were controversial, maybe the promoter you were with at the time weren't helping you out? Do you look back and think, how did this happen?
You know what? I look at, you know, it's a funny thing, like, because every time there's been dodgy decisions, there's always been one judge. The same judge. All the time, Ian John Lewis. The most controversial. Ian John Lewis. All the time, it's always been Ian John Lewis. All the times. I just feel like, even like one day other judge, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Something that, no, not Davis.
Dave Parrish?
Dave Paris. I don't know how he saw that fight. Me losing by 6 rounds.
I couldn't believe it when that decision
I
came.
remember my time I just saw him and turned around. I could see the look on her face. Goes, "Oh, you ain't gonna start trouble, are ya?" Trying to make it like look like like it's fun and all that, like But like you can see in my face like I wasn't really like smiling with him as such. Even like in John Lewis when he sees me, "You alright, son? You alright, son? You alright?" I'm like, your conscience is burning you deep down because you can't look me in the face. Now, every minute he sees me, "Oh, you alright, mate? You alright? You alright?" It's good to see you're still involved in boxing. Dave Price done it once, but like Ian John Lewis has done it 3 times, and it's like those were crucial decisions. The first one, Martin Powers,
decision.
Yeah. Every time he's done it. He's done it, like even when the Southern Era title at Super Bantamweight I done, and I won that easy. And even like Mark Callahan, he's my mate now. He still he won that fight.
How do you still stay in love with boxing and get up and go training again for the next fight when you know that those decisions, especially in your career, those decisions have happened at least 4 or 5 times? How do you still stay in love with boxing?
It was so. Do you know what? It's been so devastating, as in cause after when I see after the Jim McDonald fight, suffered from depression, bro. Like just like. You might see me, I might be smiling with you, but you don't know what's going through my head. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's only like the people that live with me know what I'm going through. Because they know like, oh, some days you just don't want to come out. It's like, like you feel less motivated about things. I mean, little things like, even like little things like going to a family thing, like, oh, I can't be bothered, oh, leave me out of this. That type of thing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel bad for my kids sometimes because some things they suffer those things because of me, because of the boxing. Because they be like some things where like I should have taken them out to certain events. I just don't want to come out. I can't be asked. I don't want to be seen. I just want to stay. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess as fans, that's what we don't see. Obviously we scream at the TV. We see a bad decision, but then we don't think, okay, what's going to happen with that fighter? Obviously the paychecks go down. Everything goes down after that. You have to kind of start again. Building blocks.
Yeah, man, imagine you 1 minute earning, you get 25 grand. I remember, I got 25 grand for one fight. And next fight was bloody what? 2 grand. Like, what's happened? That's just from being robbed.
Yeah.
From after Jimmy McDonald. And you go back down to like 2 grand.
We touched on money there. You kind of spoke about what you get in terms of paychecks and what you have got as well. And you look at someone like Mayweather getting, I don't know, $80 million possibly a fight. Do you think it's well deserved for his career, or do you think boxing should be spread out a bit more evenly? It seems like a few of the top guys get a lot of money, and then the real, not even the bottom guys, even the middle guys don't seem to be getting paid.
Yeah, see with boxing, it's like, it's a bit like a Rip the Runway kind of thing. It's a bit like a modelling show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go out there and sell yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's some fighters like, man, they would love to earn 2 grand a fight.
Really?
That's how bad it is. Honestly speaking. Especially most of these fights where like there's non-TV, those fights are ticket deals.
So if you don't sell tickets, you're not getting paid.
So basically, let's say like I'm fighting you, right? You're gonna you're gonna cost the promoter like you want 1,500 for the fight.
Yeah.
I got sold enough tickets to pay for you.
Wow.
And myself.
Jeez.
You get what I'm saying? It's terrible. It's very terrible.
That's
why most of them guys. Like them type of them little small shows, they're bad. It's bad, really bad.
So in saying that, a lot of people at the moment say boxing's on this big renaissance with Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn. Do you think then, like when you look at the Sky Sports deal, Sky Sports have only got one promoter in Matchroom. Do you think that's killing the likes of the other promoters, the Hatton promoters, Dave Coldwell, all the other smaller shows that might have been getting little small dates on Sky?
Yeah, really and truly, it's a bit unfair in a sense, because like it should always like. I feel like they should all try and share out dates. Public really are the people that really fund Sky.
Yeah.
Because like they want to see even fights.
Yeah.
Like fights that are really like
Gonna be close fights.
Yeah, close fights where people are even the match. Like it's not like a walkover for the other person. Obviously, the first few fights when you come in on, that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean, you're gonna get tested. You're the first in my family to box, and so no one in my family could tell me, oh, this is how it go after you finish boxing. This is the situation. You understand? Because like obviously, you know, you enjoy the fame while you lost and all that. You enjoy all that attention and all that. But after that, it's a lonely road after. And boxing, unfortunately, doesn't have those type of pillars that football has. Whereas football players have their own associations. Boxing has the ex-boxers association, which is a good thing. I'm a member of it. But it's not the same. It's not as rich as football. Whereas football, you know, the people earning a lot of money. Where like they can live a comfortable life after boxing, after football, and be helped out with these little organisations. Whereas like a lot of boxers, you find if you look at a lot of stories of people after boxing, they're sad.
Yeah, you look at even the ones that made really, really good money, multi-millionaires like Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Mike Tyson as well. Everyone hears the stories about those. So it's not even really the financials. As soon as, for some reason, there seems to be this problem. As soon as boxers retire, it's almost like, what do we do next?
It's a mental thing. It's such a mental thing, yeah, that becomes psychological. That's why you have a lot of fighters that got off key. The reason being is because I think boxing needs that little a foundation that I feel like this is what I thought anyway. Boxing should have a foundation where like every boxer has like helps towards this foundation, which guides boxers the afterlife of boxing. It's just like anything. Boxing is like a drug. It's just like it's an addiction that's so bad, yeah. By the time when you finish, because it doesn't set you ready for the afterlife of it.
Yeah.
So when you're finished with your career, it's what you do after. Even if you got millions of pounds, yeah. Look at Holyfield, look at all these big guys that have made millions here. They ain't got nothing to do after. That's why they keep coming back into boxing, because there's nothing to do. It's like you've spent all your life boxing, right? You spent your teenage years, spent your early years. You can't go to a 9 to 5. You find it so difficult, because that's all you know. Your mind has been so programmed in one way that, like, to me, a foundation that will help some of these guys get an education. Get an education behind them. Some of them have got an education. I mean, I've got my education, but my education's only to a certain level. You get me? I've done my GCSE, done my A levels. Went to university, but didn't go back. I've done it a year, then I didn't go back. And you see that was boxing on that. It's like, but now, at the time, university was free. But now it's like
it's $9 grand. I look at it. I'm privileged. I've watched some of your fights on TV. Most of the fights that were on TV, I watched them on Sky. You weren't really in tough fights. I mean, your losses came majority decisions, split decisions. Why retire so young? You retired at what, 32? 32, 33?
33, yeah.
I mean, you still easily have. I mean, look at fighters like Bernard Hopkins, obviously Floyd Mayweather even going now, Manny Pacquiao, a lot older, Marquez. Do you think you retired young? Do you regret it?
Well, I retired, yeah. Well, for the little weight divisions, they say you're old once you hit 30. But don't get me wrong, like all night I've been thinking about. I've started training. I said to myself, you know what? Let me see how it goes in 6 months.
Yeah.
Because I've been speaking to people like, and I said to myself, you know what? Let me give it another go.
So this is it. We're talking about a comeback.
Yeah, I've been thinking. It's been something that's been going in my head. I've been training. I've started just get back to living my life again. And it's obviously, I've said to myself, I'm gonna give myself 6 months of just conditioning myself all back together. I started sparring already. You know what I mean? So
I think boxing needs a character like Ian the Dapper Napa. I mean, look at a lot of the boxers now. We've got good boxers in Britain, but I look at them and I think there's no characters. I mean, when you was coming through, obviously Jason, Too Smooth Booth, well, you know, everyone seemed to have a character, a persona. I look at the boxers now, and as good as they're doing, they all seem a bit dull. There's no personalities. No one seems to be able to sell themselves. You think boxing needs someone like yourself to come in, give it that shot of injection?
You need some people like characters like me. Like,
come back, same weight class. We come back.
We'll see that. We'll see about that in 6 months. We'll see about that in 6 months. Time will tell. You know, like see now I'm older and I understand what it takes to be. You know what I mean?
Get down to weight and
I understand my body. So like, it's just like time will. I'm not in a rush for nothing in the day, because in the day I'm not pressuring myself to say, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. What's that? In the day I know that once I get back, as long as I'm in good shape, and as long as I've trained hard, and the thing that's really going to tell me, answer my questions, when I'm drop my weight and I start sparring with these young fighters. That's all I want to do is spar with young fighters.
You'll be too skillful for them.
Yeah, I might be skillful for them, but what I mean, I'm like, cause I've sparred with a couple of guys, and like I I know how to train.
Yeah.
I understand the game better than that they do. So I know when to work, when not to work. You know what I mean? But what is just that I want to spar with young fighters that will test my reflexes, the speed. That's what I need.
Stamina.
Yes, that's the sort of thing. Because they got natural stamina.
Yeah.
Well, not natural when you're young. You ain't got natural stamina, but you can recover quicker than I can. So that's the thing.
Have you got a gym base yet? Or we're at TKO today.
I'm at TKO all the time.
Yeah, is this going to be a
I'm
place?
between TKO and Peacock.
Okay.
Yes, it's wherever it is.
Oh, two local gyms?
Yeah,
Canning
they're
Town,
just
Lonsdale?
just around the corner from each other, yeah.
Okay, because we've seen you in Pedro Gym a couple of times as well.
I go
All over.
I'm saying. Sometimes a bit of Tony Sims, depending where the spot is.
Yeah. Well, Ian, that's all. Thank you so much. Talking to BoxTalk.
Yeah.
Wish you good luck with your comeback, and we're definitely going to be following you.
Yeah.
Two-time British champion, former European champion. Talking about
The only
comeback.
thing I can say to the youth is that if you're going to take up boxing, just take it serious and dedicate yourself and don't look back. Put yourself first. Don't follow your friends, follow your heart.